Hello, She Readers. I'm Cher Guthrie, and this is my book report. And oh my gosh, you guys, I am so grateful for once in my life that I am like Dory from Finding Nemo, because I forget everything. I read At Peace by Kristen Ashley forever ago. And it was before I started doing book reports or anything, which is why I haven't done one before. And I forgot a lot. I reread it in time to read The Promise so that I could just, of course, refresh my memory. And it was so darn good. Oh my gosh. Okay, this story is about Violet, who is from Chicago, and she was married to a guy who was also a cop, and he was investigating a mafia type guy, and he gets murdered by him. Well, Violet has two daughters, and the mafia guy ends up having a thing for Violet. Well, she's got to get away from him. So she picks up the girls, they move to Indiana, and right next door is Mr. Joe Callahan, who is a security specialist. Well, of course, it's instant love, but of course neither one of them can admit that. And the thing about this book is the character development is insane. I mean, you really feel it because of the character growth in the whole thing. Character development, character growth, you are feeling it because there is more tragedy, I think, in this one book than in any other of her books. I've read like 45 of Kristen Ashley's books, or however many she has. And I don't think anyone has ever felt as much loss as these two characters and everyone else that is in their immediate vicinity. And yet, they refuse to let that break them. Joe Callahan almost does, but then he's smart enough to know that he'd be losing the best thing in his whole life, and he comes around. But everything in it, I love all the characters. I loved the neighbors, the friends, the daughters were amazing, the family members. There was so much in this book between family, friends, romance, suspense, just everything right here in your heart. I mean, it had everything that I could possibly want in a book. And I just truly enjoyed it from start to finish. And I know what I was going to say. I loved, in other books you hear everything from like baby, babe, darling, honey, lovey, love, whatever it is, sugar. You hear all of that. But in this book, Joe calls Violet Buddy. And he makes it sound so darn sexy. And I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. And also, Violet calls Joe Callahan Joe. Everyone else calls him Cal, but she calls him Joe because she knows what it does to him. And I loved it so much that I walk around in my head just going, Joe. In my head, it's very sexy. Here it's not. But I loved it so much. I wanted to create a game and just have all my friends over and have us drink every time that she said it, and we could just talk about all of the great quotes and situations and everything that happened in this book. It was just so solid. Such a solid book. I've read all of her books, and this has to be in my top 5. Just so well done. And I think this is the only time that I've ever done this. I mean, the second time I've ever done this. And I'm giving it an A+, because there's not a darn thing that I would change about it. Loved it. And you know what I'm going to do right now? Right now, I am going to go start The Promise, which is right after this one. Well, it's not. There are 2 more after this. That's right. But I'm just so excited. Okay, The Promise is next. And if you want to talk about this book or any other book, you can find sheReader on Facebook and on Twitter.